friends. Welcome to the Daily Inch.
Oh, hello.
While I'm away researching Murder Mile, here's a little treat to keep you entertained over the next 3 weeks. 15 little stories which are fun, rambly, informative, but not essential to listen to. Each story's been written and presented in a tongue-in-cheek way and are not for the easily offended. Murder Mile returns on Thursday the 3rd of November 2022. But until then, there's this. Number 9. More than one way to strangle a cat. Just to say, no cats were harmed during the recording of this episode. Money is like oxygen or chocolate. You can't live a single moment of your life without it. To make money takes talent, which we all have in small doses. Or in the case of any thicko reality TV stars, who've been dredged from the dregs of the personality bin and will appear on TV dross, like celebrity chef patio makeovers from hell. Ex-Corrie stars do colonics on ice. And help, I'm a failure with a huge tax bill and no talent to pay for it. Please let me suck off a goat's bollock, as my life can't get any worse since I was booted out of rehab for being a twat. They have about as much talent as they have brain cells. And yet if you tax these arse candles on how many sentences they can utter which weren't gibberish, they'd be as broke as a bankrupt rat who spent his last pound taking out plague insurance. Oh yeah, life sucks. Obviously, Eva earns lots and lots of money as she is amazing. If Eva was paid according to how brilliant she is, she'd need a... hang on. Must cross legs. Feeling dizzy. Must stop thinking about Eva. All the blood's rushed from my tiny brain to my tiny... quick. Think about something really boring. Paint. Strictly. Arsenal. Any true crime podcast by Parcast. It's done it. Phew. You see, that's the problem. How can you earn money if, unlike a wonderful Eva, you're only a mere mortal? As a fat bald man with a very slight, almost imperceptible Eva Green fixation, I've had a lot of crappy jobs to bring in the cash throughout my life. I've made cardboard boxes, I worked in a garlic factory, I graded potatoes, I was a shoeshine boy in a Victorian museum, I de-rusted G-clamps at a car plant on 12-hour shifts. Only when I went to drive home, I touched my steering wheel, a pain shot up my arms like they were on fire, and I realised my wrists had swollen. Unable to drive home, I slept in my car, and having only lasted 3 days, I earned £100, having spent £60 on steel toe-capped boots. Great days. Also, in my brief stint as an actor, of sorts, I was a featured extra in a Welsh drama about a band called the Horseshooters, in which I played the roadie. Yes, the band's roadie, who, if you watch carefully, as they didn't have any spare equipment for me to carry about, when the band are on stage, you can see me dithering around, carrying a kettle lead, almost like I'm one bag short of a cuppa. Anyway, in a scene showing the aftermath of a wild and drunken party, the camera pans around and you see the following. The lead singer in bed with 3 ladies. Oh yeah. The guitarist in bed with 2 sexy babes. Oh yeah. You see the drummer crashed out with 1 attractive groupie. Oh yeah. And then the camera cranes across the floor and, like a premonition of my love life, you see the roadie collapsed in the corner, covered in sick, and he's all by himself. No girls, no kissing, no nothing. I was paid £30 per day and I worked for 1 day. I've never watched it, so I've no idea if I'm even in it. But I did wolf down 3 puddings at dinner time, so it was win-win as far as I was concerned. Anywho, we all have talent and we all use that to make money. Eva does it through her greatness. Piers Morgan does it by being a massive arsehat. Politicians go bleh in Parliament when they're not asleep or shagging their secretaries. And most minor royals earn their money by wearing hats? I don't know. Anyway, the key to making money is to use whatever talent you have, even if you have none. The man I want to talk to you about is 23-year-old Viorel Dinu, a man who had very little discernible talent, but he learned to use this to his advantage to earn a living. Hailing from Romania, Dinu had struggled to find work in his native country, as being a double-leg amputee, meaning he had no limbs below his hips. He had come to England to seek employment, but found that the job box was bare. Using a skateboard to wheel himself around, he had no problems travelling from Nottingham, where he had lived for the last 6 months. But hearing that the streets of London were paved with gold, which the locals also called dog shit, he had access to a little wooden flute and he planned to become a busker. Problem was, he had no idea how to play it and no plans to learn. But where there's a will, there's a way. And he had a way which was a balance between art, robbery and torture. On the 19th of July 2012 at 3:45 p.m, police were called to the pavement outside of the John Lewis store on Oxford Street, where Dinu was inflicting his high-pitched screeching using his flute, and demanding that passers-by pay him money to stop. So awful was his musical shrill that he had already made £150. Tried at Westminster Magistrates Court, Dinu was charged with using a noisy instrument in a public place for the purpose of obtaining money, which never stopped the Spice Girls, and he was given an antisocial behaviour order, fined £35, and he was banned from the city of Westminster for 2 years. So there you go. You don't need talent to make money, just persistence and a little flute. Which is exactly how Eva describes me. Boom. The Daily Inch returns tomorrow. And of course, your regular episodes of Murder Mile return on Thursday the 3rd of November, or 3 days earlier via Patreon. Thank you.